So how do we take everything we talked about with us out onto the football field? We now have lots of knowledge and tools to talk about sexuality with our players. To kickstart the conversation, I also want to share 3 very simple ways that you as a leader and coach can bring up these issues with your team. Answer the unspoken questions. There are always many questions that are there in your team, but that are not asked straight out. There will probably be a lot of questions that the girls have, which they may even discuss among themselves, but which they never ask openly. But you can respond to these unspoken questions. As a coach, you can take advantage of the opportunity to raise topics yourself. I'll give you an example of this from one of our leaders, Malin. She realized one training that almost everyone on her team had received dick pics sent in messages, which she noticed when she heard the girls talk about the pictures they had received and compare how they had received them. At first, she did not know how she should act, but then she raised the issue in our leaders network to see if any of the other leaders were in a similar situation, and it turned out that she was not alone. After having discussed the issue with other coaches, she felt ready to bring up the issue with the girls. She brought up the issue around dick pics by telling them that she had overheard them talking about it, and that she wanted them to understand that none of them should ever have to experience getting a dick pic sent to them if they didn't want to, and explain what they could do if it happened again. Malin raised the issue that was there but unspoken, and gave the girls the opportunity to actually bring up thoughts they had around it so the girls could have a discussion about it, share their experiences, thoughts, feelings, and worries, and understand how to deal with them. Bring it up yourself. There are several ways to raise topics and ask questions yourself. Depending on how confident you are, you can decide what suits you and the team best. For example, you can raise topics linked to sexuality in a natural way during the check-in at your training session. Another leader, Frida, did so. She wanted to talk about menstruation with her girls, and therefore chose to start the training by checking in as usual. She checked in with, "How are you feeling right now?" And then, when it came to her turn, she checked in herself with that she had a lot of menstrual pain and felt a little down. So she went on to say something like, "You may not know what it is like to have your period, so let me tell you." And then she started to talk about it and turned into a very natural and good discussion about menstruation, where the girls got to ask all their questions and discuss something they were all wondering about. And of course, you don't need to have menstrual pains yourself to fit it into a check-in. Another very good way to raise topics yourself, which one of our leaders, Albera, did, is to create a talk box. A box where the players can place their questions on pieces of paper into the box, completely anonymously. The question box is really a good way to address issues and have discussions about different topics. Albera makes sure that she leaves the box freely available before and after each training session, along with pens and post-its or bits of paper. And then she has one training session per month that she calls Talk Box Time, where instead of training football, they have a conversation where they discuss the questions put into the question box. The great thing about a talk box is that you can capture the exact questions the girls want and need to talk about, while also giving you the opportunity to prepare an answer, because you can choose the questions you want to answer in advance and research a little to feel prepared to answer them if you wish. As a leader, you can really take this opportunity to broaden the perspectives regarding an issue or topic. For example, if a player wants to talk about boyfriends, you can start talking about boyfriends and girlfriends, as well as sexual orientation. Because remember, you only ask questions about things you know that you don't know. So you don't ask questions about things you don't even know that you don't know. So you as a leader can build on the players' questions to broaden their perspectives and knowledge. If you want to start using a question box, one tip is that you as a coach put in the first questions into the box yourself. Since the questions are anonymous, no one will know that it is you who put them there. So you can raise questions about topics that you want to discuss, that you find important to your players. And the players will probably think that these are topics then that others in the team wanted to raise, which with great probability is the case. So asking questions yourself means you can also encourage the girls to use the question box and dare to start asking questions themselves, since they're thinking that other players are already using it. So with a box full of questions, players will probably feel more comfortable writing and posting questions themselves. Invite someone else. If you as a leader do not feel comfortable having some discussions yourself, don't let that stop you. You can of course invite someone else to talk to the girls. For example, there may be a fellow coach from our network at Futebol, Força, someone at a youth or health clinic in your community, or from another organization that would love to come and share knowledge with your girls. You can also visit health clinics and other services to show the girls what it looks like and where they are located. And that's always free of charge. Keep in mind that you have a whole network of trained and certified leaders within Futebol Força that you can get help from. And if you're uncertain about how you can bring up a topic, you most likely have other leaders in the network who have advice on how you can do it and who can share their experiences of raising the same topics on their teams. All you need to do is ask. Even if you invite others to join in the conversation, remember to always be present and uphold the safe space that you and your players have created in the team. It is important that you as a leader are there so that the players feel safe and that your team culture also applies to the conversation, even if someone else is there to talk or facilitate the conversation. And by participating, you also show that the issues raised are important. And of course, everything we talk about is age appropriate. Depending on age, we can talk about, for example, self-esteem, respect, boundaries, and good feeling in different ways. If you have any questions about how you can adapt a conversation to the age of your players, you can always contact us and ask. But remember that you can always talk about important things with your players, irrespective of their age. Also remember that the most important thing is not that you know the answers to all the questions, but that you have created a safe space where the girls feel that they can ask the questions. It is even good that you do not know all the answers. Then you can take this opportunity to teach girls that it is good to seek help and ask questions, that it is smart and something that you obviously need to do, and not something that should be taboo or that you should feel embarrassed about. So the idea is not that you should become a sex educator, but that you, in your role as a leader and football coach, can use your team as a forum for your girls to feel better and gain more knowledge about sexuality and their rights. By not being experts, you're able to raise these issues, and by using the safe space you've already created in your teams, give the girls the opportunity to talk about more than just football, in a way that strengthens their self-esteem, their rights, and their opportunities in life.